Hello everyone, welcome to sqadia.com. Today we are going to talk about wounds, healing and tissue repair. It's a very important lecture and a very interesting one because in this lecture we'll see how does the body regenerate and repair itself whenever it is injured or a wound appears in the body. So this lecture has been divided into 5 sections. In the first section, we'll talk about the normal healing of the body. We'll see what happens when an injury occurs to the body, what mechanisms are activated. Then we'll see the phases of wound healing, and finally, we'll talk about healing in specific set of tissues present in the human body. In the second section, we'll move on to abnormal healing. Again, we'll talk about the processes that are activated when a wound occurs in the body, but this time these processes would not be able to complete themselves. We'll see what abnormality occurs in these processes. We'll talk about wound closure and wound healing. We'll talk about the types of wounds. What are the various types of wound based on their injuries, based on their types. Then we'll talk about the acute wounds themselves. In the third section, we'll take up acute wounds in detail. This section is very important because in this section, we'll talk about the compartment syndrome, a very important time-sensitive matter. Then we'll talk about high-pressure injuries. We'll see how these high-pressure injuries occur and what is the mode of their treatment. In the fourth section, we'll be talking about chronic wounds. We'll see wounds which are there in the body for some time. These patients usually are immunocompromised. We'll see what these chronic wounds are and how we can help the body to close them and repair them. And in the fifth section, we'll talk about the tissue infections and scarring. We'll see how these wounds can become infected or can be infected in the first place, in the beginning even. And then we'll talk about the scars which are formed when a wound is healed. And finally, we'll talk about contractures. We'll see what contractures are and how they limit the movement of the body. I hope you're excited about today's lecture. For further such lectures, keep watching sqadia.com.